This is going to be a journey of spectacular scenery, feats of amazing human engineering, and myths and legends all added to the mix. But the thing that excites me most are the natural forces that conspire to create the Highlands of Scotland. My name is Kevin Elgello, and this is the Great Glen Way. It's a story that literally divided and connected the Highlands of Scotland. This whole route is steeped in history, from the Iron Age to the Picts and to the Industrial Revolution, epitomised by the works of Thomas Telford. This whole area is also connected with the heroic achievements to defeat the Nazis in World War II. But actually, these human accomplishments are a byproduct of something much, much bigger. This is a story of how this landscape came to be, and the peoples that lived upon it are deeply connected to the Great Glen geological fault.
My journey started in the town of Fort William, the outdoor capital of the UK. The last time I was here, I'd just completed the West Highland Way, so doing the Great Glen Way just seemed right. Like all journeys, the start can be the most memorable, and the Great Glen Way is no exception at the site of the original Fort William. Although in the 21st century it's surrounded by a McDonald's and a supermarket, it seems only right to start your journey northeast from here. The old fort was a strategic stronghold built around 1690 and later fortified by General Wade in 1725 as part of the English suppression of the Highlanders. It was named Fort William, as was the town, after King William III. The fort gained notoriety for its role in the infamous Glencoe massacre of 1692, where members of the MacDonald clan were murdered as they slept by troops of the Clan Campbell under orders from the English government. The fort also played its part for those travelling to the Americas as part of the Highland clearances, displacing people for the sake of agriculture, mainly sheep farming. If you're watching this film in the US and you have Scottish ancestors, no doubt they may have left from here.
It always makes me laugh when you start a long distance walk by McDonald's and a supermarket, but it is what it is. Most great walks will have to start somewhere, and a lot of them inevitably will start off in a town. But I'm so excited to be on the trail again. It's been, well, virtually almost a year shy of a month since I last did the West Highland Way, so I'm so excited to be getting and heading north along the Great Glen Way.
The Great Glen Way is significantly easier than the extremely popular West Highland Way. It's a couple of days shorter, and on the whole the terrain is much easier going and indeed flatter. So my plans are to use this to my advantage, allowing me to take some detours off route.
This is disappointing. I've just come off route to Inverlochy Castle, and it's closed, physically closed. They're doing some kind of restoration, so I can literally get in through this gate, almost get up to the ramparts. And as I turn about, it's closed. But if you were doing the Great Glen in a future date, hopefully this restoration work will be complete, and it's definitely worth a few hundred meters just off the track to come and see this amazing castle.
Inverlochy Castle was built around 1270 to 1280 by John the Black Comyn, chief of the clan Comyn. Archaeologists believe the castle was constructed upon an earlier Pictish fortification and settlement, and is said to have been sacked by Viking invaders. When Robert the Bruce succeeded to the Scottish throne in 1306, he swiftly captured, then burnt the castle to the ground. The ruins were left unoccupied for quite some time until a royal visit from Queen Victoria in 1873 saw some restoration work undertaken.
It's disappointing that I couldn't get in, but it is what it is. There's nothing we could do. But what it proves is that it really does invest to just come off the main Great Glen Way. Just see what else there is around you. Otherwise, things like this could be so easily missed. And that's really what the spirit of this particular adventure will be. Just stepping off the trail and seeing what things we can find. Even if they are closed, it's still worth the adventure.
With Inverlochy Castle behind me, I now headed over the Soldiers Bridge towards the small town of Corpath, and an unusual surprise.
There's simply nothing like walking along a shoreline. The sound of the water, the smell of the sea, the sound of pebbles beneath your feet. But then, of course, on the Great Glen Way, you have this, a shipwreck. This is the MV Dayspring, motor vessel Dayspring, built in 1975, and she mostly fished herring and mackerel in and around Loch Lochy and beyond. Now, on the 8th of December 2011, she was moored just across the bay in Cumnasagal, and there was a terrible storm, and she was literally ripped from her anchor and pushed across the bay and became marooned as the ship you see beside me. Obviously, there was much debate when this happened, and the local council decided that actually they're going to leave her there, and she's become this kind of macabre tourist attraction, something you don't often expect to see on the trail, and certainly by a loch. But nonetheless, it is quite a spectacular and awe-inspiring thing. So if you do come just slightly off the path, literally 10-20 meters, you can check out the MV Dayspring.
The Dayspring is the smallest of detours off the route, but looking around does add a bit of time to your day. However, that's the beauty of adding a few extra days to walk the Great Glen Way. It's about the journey rather than the destination.
This is it. This is the Caledonian Canal, built by the world famous British engineer Thomas Telford. Now, I'm not going to be spending the next sort of 10 minutes reeling off reams of information about Thomas Telford. Now, obviously, I've read up a lot about this journey before I started, but I'm going to spread out the information as I go, because basically this whole Great Glen Way uses the Caledonian Canal, or travels along the Caledonian Canal. And Thomas Telford was a very clever chappie. He actually made use of 3 natural locks, and we'll be talking about more about that as I travel. But let's just head on, and it's now really official. This is really now the Great Glen Way, and it's just north and north and north to Inverness.
Next time on the Great Glen Way, I'll be visiting Neptune's staircase with its 8 impressive locks. I'll be taking a big detour to pay homage to the commandos of World War II and to the Clan Cameron Museum, where some surprising artefacts are waiting to be found. And finally, to the halfway point of my journey, to the hub of the Caledonian Canal, Fort Augustus. So please subscribe to my channel to stay tuned.